Well, with that music playing in the background, ladies and gentlemen, you know it's draft time. And we're bringing one for you tonight here on another episode of Fantasy. Right here on the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast Network. Myself, the Road to Superstar himself, alongside co-host extraordinaire, Mr. Nick Heffley. How are we doing tonight, Nick Heffley?
Good, man. We got Mrs. Woo Fantasy joining right beside me. We're
the third wheel of the Woo Fantasy marriage.
Telling you, man, she knows her stuff, man. We're getting ready. She and I have a draft. Her maiden name is Junk, so I just joined their league with the wedding hashtag we had, Junk Removal, because I'm taking away your junk.
That's awful cute.
Yeah, that. and then it's pretty good. And then we got a few couples that we know from here in the Atlanta area. We're doing a draft on Wednesday night, so opening night eve. So we are. I can't wait. She's going to sit right here. Hopefully, not learn too many pointers from me or who I'm going to take. So
yeah, that's right. Going to be sniping picks. That's how you ruin a marriage.
Oh, and I forgot here. Here, we can. You want to see? She can say hi. There she is.
Hey,
yeah! That's right. That's right. Oh shit.
So we're just, as you can see on the screen here, if you're following live on YouTube, we're live streaming this event. We're just under 8 minutes until we get this draft started. This is the Experts League that Nick did start up just a few years back. What is this? 5 years running now?
Yeah, 5 or 6 or so. I wanted to kind of get together a lot of the we play
some of the better fantasy owners in our leagues.
We'll say. I mean, we've got some guys that we play with that are good in their own right, but this might be their one or two leagues that they do throughout the year. We wanted to go and we wanted to get the best of the best of who we knew and who we wanted to get in the league. So this is kind of the best of the best. The cool little wrinkle that we do in this league is we do a playoffs and we do a toilet bowl playoff. Whoever actually loses in the toilet bowl, we boot them from the league. They are gone.
That is correct. They get booted out of this league if you don't want to. If you don't want to perform too well, yes, you get booted out of this league. That's a nice caveat to have in there.
It's just like the English Premier League. You suck, you're gone.
That's right.
Luckily, I have never been booted from the league, but
neither have I.
But Mr. Charisma was within points the first year of getting booted, and actually year 2 did get booted.
Yeah, and which I try to get Mr. Charisma Justin Farley on this podcast and live stream for this draft tonight, but he's currently wrangling around the children. Didn't think it would be feasible to go on video for this draft tonight with wild children in the background, so we'll get him on. He'll be on the next. He'll be on that Woo Fantasy podcast later on this week when we go over Week 1 NFL action. It's right around the table, ladies and gentlemen. We're right there. And of course, yesterday in the NFL, we'll kind of go over the news and notes as we're prefacing this draft and kind of getting ready for it. Things to kick off. Cut down day in the NFL yesterday. It's a lot of news hitting the wire, and it can affect some of these late NFL or the late fantasy drafts that we've got going on. And of course, you had the Houston Texans absolutely losing their minds yesterday. Deal after deal after deal. And who's to say whether or not these are going to work out for the team? But, they get rid of Jadeveon Clowney for a price of beans to the Seattle Seahawks. They turn around and trade for Carlos Hyde, who now can possibly affect the output for Duke Johnson in the backfield for the Texans. Hate to say I told you so, but I told you so for all the Duke Johnson owners out there. They were going to bring in a veteran running back, and that is exactly what they did. We'll see how that shakes out. That's something that happened just last year. Both of these guys were competing in the backfield for the Cleveland Browns. We saw how that worked out. Where it remains to be seen here with that backfield. And then also the biggest news, LaShawn McCoy gets cut, skyrocketing Devin Singletary up draft boards and rankings as we head into the season. And also McCoy turns right around and goes to the Kansas City Chiefs this morning, or late last night, I should say. that muddies the waters in Kansas City for that backfield and the expected output for Damian Williams. So, what to do? How are you feeling about the news from yesterday with some of the player movement?
Who you want to talk about first? Let's talk about Duke Johnson.
Let's talk about Duke Johnson and your man love for Duke Johnson right now.
Okay, but I'll be honest. If the Texans brought in LaShawn McCoy, I would be a little nervous as a Duke Johnson owner. I have been harping on Duke Johnson for a minute. I love Duke Johnson. Yes, I understand that Carlos Hyde is probably going to come in and get some carries, but Carlos Hyde has done nothing with those carries. Duke Johnson is a PPR darling. He'll come in, he'll catch the ball. Duke Johnson shown absolutely nothing. LaShawn McCoy might come in and take some carries away from Damian Williams getting to that situation. I wouldn't be worried, though. Like Damian Williams has shown last year that he can be a really good running back there. LaShawn McCoy, granted, he did not have a good line in front of him when he was in Buffalo, but he's shown that he can make those elusive steps, and he just didn't really show it last year. So
yeah, that's true. So I agree. I think I still think that Duke Johnson's got a chance to really kind of score pretty well in this backfield for the Texans. I mean, we saw yesterday with the moves that they made that defense is not really going to be a strong point for this team, but they're going to be loaded up on offense. They also bring in Kenny Stills with Laramie Tunsil deal from the Miami Dolphins. They're going to be stacked on offense.
They paid a ton to be able to do that.
And as much as we gave the Chicago Bears and all their fan base hell for that one move up to get Mitchell Trubisky and everything they gave up for that and everything they gave up last year in the Khalil Mack deal, that was worse.
Pales in comparison what the Houston Texans did for Laramie Tunsil. The Bears got a perennial All-Pro. What has Laramie Tunsil done? I mean, he's a decent tackle, but he's not that good. Kenny Stills is at best a number 2.
Yeah, I mean, but now he comped, Will Fuller when he came through the NFL draft, a lot of comps were that he was going to be similar to Kenny Stills. Now you got them both in the same offense, running the same position, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But now looks like 1 minute, 45 seconds away from the draft. And so kind of really want to get into talking about that real quick. 12-team PPR, ESPN, going to get started here in just a few minutes. My pick is at pick 2. As you can see on the screen, Nick will be picking from pick 5 in this draft.
Not too far away.
Not too far away, but I'll say this. Number 2, that is the earliest that I've drafted in any draft so far this year. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how this goes. Do I pull the trigger on Ezekiel Elliott at 2 with the pending news that the deal is on the table? Or do I go the safe route and go with whoever falls to me between McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara?
I mean, supposedly the deal was on the table the other week when they were trying to make him the second highest paying running back in the league. And
it's pushing forward as we speak. We'll say that right
now. The question is, I mean, he is the number 1 rated player on my board there. I don't know where he stands on yours if he's in, but where would he be in if he is?
I don't know. That's a major question that's fixing to be.
What are you trying to play a little coy here? You picked before I did.
I'll go ahead and tell you. I'm not. Odds are I'm not going to be taking Ezekiel Elliott at 2 here. So let's go ahead and do that.
I just saw he drafted first, Mr. Philip Hampton. Hopefully you're out there, man. Philip drafted number 1. Well, he's probably not going to go.
He's probably going to go Barkley. I'll be willing to bet he goes Barkley number 1.
Agreed.
And kicking off the draft, we're ready to roll, ladies and gentlemen. Got Goodell's Goons on the clock. Mr. Philip Hampton, he did go.
Quickest pick in the history of the world.
Saquon Barkley, first pick right out of the gate. So
where you going, B? You got 1 minute here.
I got 1 minute to pick here. Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott. I think I've not owned him in any draft yet so far this year. I think the easiest pick that's going to be for me to make right here is the safe floor I don't think you can get any better than the guy that was number one at the position just a year ago, and that will be Mr. Christian McCaffrey, son of Easy Ed McCaffrey. And rolling right through the first couple of picks here, we just had
Jay Farr went David Johnson. I'm sitting here at pick 5. I was keeping my fingers crossed that I didn't get David Johnson. I've got him in way too many leagues. Ezekiel Elliott stared me in the face. Do I go DeAndre Hopkins? I really haven't had DeAndre in a draft. Hell no, we're going Zeke, baby. Get in camp, Zeke.
I do not, for the life of me, I have no idea why. Wow, Julio Jones at pick number 6, the first receiver off the board.
That's the J.P. Hogan there. My Atlanta boy, going Julio. He's an Atlanta homer. I think he at least likes the Falcons.
Bit of a stretch there. So
bit of a stretch over. I mean, the one good thing you do know about Julio versus all these other guys is he's going to be getting a lot of volume. He's in a good passing offense. You know what you're getting from Julio. I don't know that I would have gone there that high, but
no,
you know
not at all.
You know what you're getting though. You add some touchdowns to what he normally does. That's really good.
So the biggest question I'm gonna have as we get into
thank you, Justin. By the way, thank
middle
you,
rounds. Yeah, thank you. I'm not gonna thank you for that pick. That was an egregious.
Thank you.
If I could
that's
throw
why I'm glad you didn't
go
go Zeke there. Oh, Travis Kelce. Well, we do have some experts going, and that is from the man himself,
Dr. Brian Harwood himself,
Mr. SBFFC, going Travis Kelce in the first round. I mean, he does some of these leagues out in Vegas there, so that's interesting.
That is. I think he probably could have got Kelce in the second round. So that's
we're sitting here at pick 9, and DeAndre Hopkins is still on the board. Wow.
Yeah. But as we get into these middle rounds, round 2 is going to be where you typically see Damian Williams go off the board. I think that changes with the McCoy signing. I think he's going to move down the board a little bit. Do you not agree with that?
Ever so slightly. I mean, I think he's still going to be getting a good amount of work. I mean, depending on who's on the board there in round 2, I mean, I don't think he slips that far. That's me. I think he's still going to be a big part of that offense.
I do too, but right now it's kind of a worrisome situation there. You know what McCoy's done in the past. He's not looked great the last 3 years. He's steadily declined in his yards per carry and his effectiveness on the field, but it's also a situation too where he's played for Andy Reid before. Andy Reid knows what he can do with him. The Bills' offensive line has been horrid the last few seasons. So McCoy's not really been given a great chance to be a productive player in fantasy. We might see a little bit of a split there between those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, shady in that offense with Andy Reid. I mean, what the?
Keenan Allen off the board. Whew. This is.
we do have experts in this draft. I mean, guys typically go and get who they like, but I've gotten Keenan Allen in the third round of drafts.
Most of the drafts we've done so far this year, Keenan Allen is a third round player, early third round ADP. So that is a stretch.
So that is our newest addition league, Scott House. So Scott is new. So I'm sure let's see. Oh, Tyler Fisk, who made it rain there getting DeAndre Hopkins, I'm sure had absolutely no inclination that he was going to be sitting there.
Not at all. That seems, man, DeAndre Hopkins at 11 and Juju Smith-Schuster at 12. Just seems like an absolute victory for me at the end of round 1 right now. So I can't imagine being those guys here at the tail end of round 1 and looking and thinking, my goodness, I've got these guys just falling in my lap.
Wow. I mean, you got to start DeAndre Hopkins and Le'Veon Bell in the draft in an experts league. That's pretty good.
Yep, I agree with that. That is an excellent start. So now we've got James Conner. That's back-to-back picks here for Worthless Bunch at the end of round 1. Juju Smith-Schuster and James Conner. I can't
double Pittsburgh. Yeah, I had a feeling Le'Veon was going to be going.
I cannot fault that at all because I did the exact same thing in the flex league draft on Sirius XM went with Juju Smith-Schuster and James Conner to start my draft. So I'm not going to fault that at all. Le'Veon Bell, like you just mentioned, I think I've yet to really see him go in the second round. So that's a new one for me there.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those leagues though that, like I said, we've been doing it for a little while there. You got some guys again. Dr. Harwood there taking Travis Kelce at 1-7. You got guys that are going to take a little bit of a chance there. You got to get, you got some guys going zero running back theory there.
You got to take a little bit of a risk in leagues like this. That's for sure. I've won this league myself before. Nick, have you won this league yet?
I have. I actually won last year, Brandon.
Wow. Okay. See, I didn't.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Yeah. That's because you weren't anywhere close last year. So
at least I didn't get booted out of the league. So
Bazinga, yeah. Mr. Charisma there, man. He got booted. He had some. I tell you what, man. He had some really good players and had some of the worst luck you could possibly imagine. So sometimes it just happens.
So we got Odell Beckham. We got a little bit of a receiver run started up again. We got Tyreek Hill going with the third pick of round 2. Odell Beckham with the fourth pick in round 2. You're going to be coming up on the clock here in about 3 picks. What kind of strategy are you looking at right now? You started with Ezekiel Elliott. It seems to be like you might have a running back kind of fall to you that you might be interested here in round 2. You're going to go with the double running back?
Yeah, it depends on who falls. There's one wide receiver that I'm targeting here. If he comes on, I may be going in that direction there. Let's see what we got here. So Dalvin Cook goes right in front of me there. So we got Joe Mixon. Let's see what we got down here. My draft strategy on where I'm going here, we've got a lot of good running backs here sitting in this rate, so I'm going to go the last of my top tier wide receivers. Yeah, you see this guy sitting right there. Sorry, go ahead and circle and be second down the board. Antonio Brown. Guess what?
You're not
taking. We talked about him. ain't going that direction there. We're going
taking him at all.
We're going Mike Evans. I see a lot of guys right in this little range right here that are showing the same kind of a thing at running back. So we're going to go ahead and get by. I was really hoping, honestly, if any of those running backs that had just gone right in front of me, Gurley, Chubb, or Dalvin Cook was still on the board, I'd have probably gone that direction. But Mike Evans is my last guy in the top tier, that second tier, I should say, of wide receivers. So I would have that.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
Where are you going?
We'll see what falls to me. I don't believe.
I say you got this is Mr. Charisma drafting right here behind me. So
I have a feeling that he's going to take Leonard Fournette because I have a slight suspicion that he doesn't think that he'll get past me with 2 picks. Would be my assumption.
Would you take Leonard Fournette if he was there available to you and Philip didn't take him at the turn there?
I don't know. We'll see. See how this shakes out.
Shut up, Nick.
It just depends. It really depends. So we've got Farley there. Mr. Charisma went with Joe Mixon. It's a tough spot right here, actually. Antonio Brown taken right in front of me
makes it a little easier for you.
Makes it a tad bit easier for me there. So
I know where I would go. Let's see if you go where I go.
Well, and what we talk about on some of the podcasts and what we've talked about previously is diversifying what you do in drafts so you don't draft the same players over and over again.
Are you really?
So for me, I'm going to diversify what I'm doing. And for that fact alone, I'm going to take Mr. Leonard Fournette right here.
Oh, and you just heard some cussing going out at the house of Mr. Charisma.
And it's more of anything. It's more of a situation where I kind of want to play it out and see how this third round wrap comes in. And I mean, I don't really want to go 3 straight running backs to start my draft, but if that's the way that the draft itself rolls out to me, then that's what I'll just have to do. But
so be it.
That's the way the cookie crumbles, as we like to say.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
But right now, I mean, I've started off. I've got Christian McCaffrey and I've got Leonard Fournette, two guys that are really, I mean, have all the talent in the world, can start and go with the finish as RB1s in fantasy. I have no doubts about that. Leonard Fournette, as long as he stays on the field, and if he gives me 15 games this season, he's solidly an RB1 in fantasy. So
yeah, I think he's a head case, dude.
I mean, he might be a head case, but I'm hoping that with the offensive improvements that they've put forth this year, I really hope it's going to change his mind and kind of really get that work ethic out of him this year. He's looked really decent so far in preseason. So hopefully that shines through into the regular season is what my hope is right now.
Yeah, I'm not touching him anywhere. Just like Antonio Brown for me, that dude is a friggin' head case. So
to wrap,
he's got great talent.
Up, we have Adam Thielen that went off the board. So then double picks, we're going to have the start of round 3 here with Brandon Cooks coming off the board.
Thank God he's off the board. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, not a big fan there.
Yeah, no. I'm just glad Brandon Cooks is off the board, namely because
you would have been forced. Your hand would have been forced there particularly.
I seem to have drafted him in every draft so
far. As for me, what do I want to do here? I hate to do this. I really do, but I'm going to need to go to the
3. Oh,
got to go to the wide receiver route.
I see where you're going.
Got to go to the wide receiver route, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on a homer pick here and go with Amari Cooper. Still fighting a little bit of the foot injury through preseason, but I think everything's going to be fine to start the start of the season. My only issue with him is going to be the fact that he's really so spotty and inconsistent last year. The numbers were great once he joined Dallas. We've talked about it ad nauseum at this point. But let's see how it shakes out in year 2. I'm hoping Kellen Moore can add a little bit more creativity to the offense, and we can get a little bit more consistent productivity from Amari Cooper in the passing attack from Dak Prescott this year. But
yeah, meanwhile, I'm sitting down over here at 5, and we've got my next 3 running backs, and I've got 3 picks for me, so I know I'm getting one of these next 3 guys coming.
Yeah, you're gonna line up pretty well with the running backs coming back to you there. I definitely agree with that. You're gonna kind of have your pick as far as the guys that are available there. Really, what I thought about doing, but I talked myself out of it at the last moment, was that I wanted to go Kerryon Johnson, Leonard Fournette, and start off with the 3 straight running backs, but talked myself out of it. Wanted to diversify my draft just a little bit, so
yeah, I'm throwing the diversification out. We're going with the rook with the highest upside right here. We're going Josh Jacobs.
Going Josh Jacobs. Is that your first time draft? Is that your first time drafting Josh Jacobs so far?
No, I've gotten him in a couple weeks so far.
Okay, I was not sure on that. So Stefan Diggs behind you in the order of the draft.
So I really wanted to get Aaron Jones there. I thought Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs are a little bit. I think Aaron Jones is going to get his work cut into him just a little bit by some of the guys that are in that offense. Jamal Williams, a Woo fantasy favorite right there. But Josh Jacobs, he has nothing there. Nobody really. Wow. Did you see what just happened?
I did not. Let me look at the board. George Kittle coming off the board there.
Yeah, check out which team.
The team that's already got Travis Kelce in the first round. Woo! All right.
Really locking up those tight ends there.
I mean, you can start them in the flex. Let's go ahead and be honest with that. So
you can. It's too bad I didn't make that roster adjustment there.
Let's see here. Julian Edelman, we got some picks flying off the board right now. Everybody's ready to wrap this draft up, it seems like.
Good Lord.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Hold on, I don't even know how to stop this thing anymore.
Yeah, see, we're not going to stop this draft.
Yeah, I can't.
Doesn't know how to do it.
Hold on. Pause. Good
talking. I mean, let's be honest here.
I don't even know how to go back. Undo. Good Lord.
Well, let's go ahead and let's let Mr. Joe Nathan Heffley, the youngest brother of the Heffley clan, get his shit together and learn how to draft. He's been on ESPN for so long. He shouldn't have a trigger finger so happy that he can't hit the button on a player.
It's like his first fucking time drafting. So I'm gonna explain to the wife. So Jonathan, when he's in here drafting, so he hits the wrong player, and he just fucking picked him again. That's that's his own damn fault. That's his own damn fault. Go ahead.
For really? Is that what happened here?
Yeah, I don't even care. I'm not going back here again.
Did it was? I mean, let's slow down here. I need to figure this out here. He did take Aaron Jones again.
Yeah.
He did take Aaron Jones again. So now I got to go back.
Aaron Jones. Sorry, I had the wrong one. Whatever. It don't matter.
So he took Aaron Jones. Let's get my stuff here settled up again. So
I've got to do the same thing here.
So we got Julian Edelman right behind
him.
Rain.
Make it rain.
Then Chris Carson comes off the board.
Okay. Zach Ertz. Okay. All right, caught up.
Patrick Mahomes, David Montgomery. That's the bad part about the draft getting halted by someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
Rookie mistakes.
Is that now it's just set me behind on keeping up with everything here. Let's see.
That's just too bad. What the? I should have done a little more player research on this guy here before I allowed him in the league.
Well, let's see here. So we had Derrick Henry make it to Tyler Fisk. LaShawn McCoy comes off the board to that's the new team in this league, I believe, right?
It is.
Wow. He is buying into LaShawn McCoy as the lead back in KC, apparently, which that is not the case. So now we have Mike Williams off the board directly behind him. So speaking of San Diego Chargers, and with the news that Melvin Gordon was allowed to seek a trade, the Chargers gave permission to his representatives to seek a trade. How are you viewing Melvin Gordon right now as a fantasy prospect?
You'll find out here in just a second. I got 3 teams to go here. I don't know, man. I have not had him in a league so far. I really don't know, actually.
I do think obviously they came out today and said that they're not going to sign him to a long-term deal. They won't talk extension until after the season. So what is that? What frame of mind does that put you in with Melvin Gordon? If he's not traded, he's going to be sitting.
He's probably going to be sitting. Yeah, exactly. So my thinking on him here is I'm not going to draft him right now. It's still way too early for a guy. You don't know exactly where it's going. So the guy that I've got with the most upside right here is the guy I'm getting ready to take. I've got him in a couple of drafts so far. I think I like Robert Woods, but I've got this guy with a little more upside. We're going Mr. Kenneth Galladay.
Solid pick. I like that pick. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Back in the day, I would have gone T.Y. Hilton with Andrew Luck right here. So bad. Bad. But
he's just falling down your board.
Not in this side. If he makes it back around to me, that may be a different story. But I am not touching with a 10-foot pole of Jacoby Brissett.
Now we've got Mr. Charisma on the board, following you here. I have a feeling Allen Robinson to pick to him. Not what I was thinking he would do.
I'm a Bears fan, and I don't like Allen Robinson. Let that sink in.
Yeah, there's not a lot of upside on this Bears passing game. I think we all know that at this point in time. So Allen Robinson for me.
After
make that pick.
After doing a lot of these drafts here now, you know what? I like picking from the back end of these drafts. I
I
like
do
picking
too.
from the 9, 10,
Off
11.
the board right in front of me.
Where do you go? How do you feel about Melvin Gordon?
I don't feel Melvin Gordon at all. I think we've talked about all that on numerous podcasts at this point in time. And I think the pick that I'm going to make is continue to kind of solidify my running backs here on the front side of this draft board. I'm going to be taking a guy that could lead the league in rushing and touchdowns, Mr. Sony Michel.
Not bad pick.
I believe has every opportunity, especially to lead the league in touchdowns scored. I've talked about it over and over again on the podcast, how I think that the Patriots offense is going to be more run-based this year. We're going to see less of an emphasis on Tom Brady in the passing game. So Sony Michel for me is kind of an easy pick there at that point in the draft. As my flex option currently with Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette holding down the top 2 running back spots, Amari Cooper at wide receiver 1, Sony Michel now my flex to begin this draft. I like how things are unfolding currently for this team.
Tell you what, people out there in fantasy land, if you do not drink an amaretto sour, something's wrong. Amaretto sours are fabulous.
Do not drink.
I know you don't. Brandon doesn't drink, but you know what? For those of you that do drink,
Duke Johnson off the board. Duke Johnson off the board.
Fucking motherfucker. That was gonna be my next pick. Thanks a lot.
Wait a second. No, wait a second. I have to actually change that. Let's go back. Let's pause the draft real quick for a second. Who just got taken?
Dude, Mr. Woo Johnson.
Woo Johnson just got taken.
Woo Johnson. We started calling Duke Johnson Woo Johnson. Woo.
Woo Johnson off the board, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of, and Woo Watson.
So he went back to back. He went Duke Johnson followed by Deshaun Watson here. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it is what it is. Now for me, looking at the board right now, let's see. I'm three running backs deep into this roster. I've got Amari Cooper, who's got a little bit of a question mark to him currently. So maybe I need to probably attack this wide receiver position still a little bit more. You mentioned Robert Woods earlier. You mentioned T.Y. Hilton earlier, and I think that's the direction that I'm going to go here. Jacoby Brissett can still get the ball to a guy like a T.Y. Hilton, and I believe that's the direction that I'm going, and that is T.Y. Hilton. Number 1 wide receiver on still a very decent Colts offense. And Melvin Gordon, there he goes, off the board at pick 52 here in this draft. That is a very, very strong and aggressive pick. Could pan out. Who knows? The talk of Twitter just a couple hours ago was that Melvin Gordon followed the Philadelphia Eagles on Instagram, which caused a little bit of a stir. I don't think the Eagles would be stupid enough to make that trade. They have too much depth of talent at running back currently as it stands. And there goes my boy off the board, Dede Westbrook. So if you listen to the podcast, you know I'm a very big fan of Dede Westbrook and what he can do this year. Even wrote a piece of an article for Dede Westbrook for Fantasy Pros. So if you hadn't checked that out, definitely go and pull that down and give that a read for me as well. But
yeah, I mean, I the value right here at wide receiver is way too good for me to go anything but. I almost took him this last round. I'm going Robert Woods right here.
Yeah, you did. You were thinking about going with him in the last round.
I was.
He falls to you this round.
Kenyon Drake. The Drake.
Kenyon Drake going off the board there. There is still too much that I like at running back ahead of him for me to pull the trigger there. And if you've noticed who is still falling down the board currently, not been selected, just a week ago, this guy was going at the tail end of round 2 and early parts of round 3. Damian Williams still on the board. So anybody that really wants to know
about it. I thought about going there, but just with the way that the running back situations have now kind of shaken up a little bit in some of these, I think I can afford to wait a little bit. Let's see what it comes. Let's talk about that back in about 3 minutes when it comes back to me, and see who's actually out there, because I think there's going to be a lot of talent coming back in the running back position to you and I.
I believe you're correct.
Hold on. 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
2 minutes, and he'll be right back. So that as this draft is unfolding, what we've seen previously before in some of the other drafts that we've done, you're getting a lot of these talented guys. There's a lot of depth here in these middle rounds, and that's what we're running into currently. As you've seen in previous drafts and everything that's been involved, running backs are coming off the board fairly early, so that is starting to get thin as we're sitting here in the 5th round. Current DJ Moore comes off the board here at pick 58 there, I believe.
Thank you, Mrs. Blue Fantasy. Woo!
Darius Geis off the board. Darius Geis now off the board. That seems like a bit of a stretch to me as well. We got Alshon Jeffrey now picked off the board as well. I still don't. I have very mixed feelings on Alshon Jeffrey as we enter into this season. I don't know how you feel with Alshon and that Eagles passing attack. Too many mouths to feed right now.
It's a lot of mouths to feed in my direction there. I think he's going to be the one to get a lot of that action, but yeah, I don't want to touch him this early, man.
Yeah, I mean it's always too early to touch him. I'll say that. Going with the crass humor here in the draft room. Calvin Ridley followed by, now we have Mark Ingram off the board, the man heading up the Ravens rushing attack. And back-to-back running back here at the tail end of round 5 and into round 6. We've got Philip Lindsay in the woo. The background is from the Broncos fan in the room.
She picked out that pick in 2 seconds. Let me tell you.
She could have had her head turned, and she hears Philip Lindsay, and it's immediately followed by woo.
She just saw Philip Lindsay. All you heard was woo.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. I'm intrigued to see how high she's going to take Philip Lindsay tomorrow.
Yeah, that's woo, man.
Woo, man.
It's just if he can put together the season that he put together last year, I think that's what people are starting to kind of get wise on is you don't want to draft a guy that was a hero from a year ago. You don't want to draft him assuming he's going to pull down the same exact type of statistics in year 2.
I tell you what, man. I think he's going. I think he's going to. I really do. I think Philip Lindsay is going to have a good.
With the Theo Riddick injury, I think it opens the door for him to be on the field more. You've got a little bit of competition there in that backfield with Royce Freeman. Royce Freeman's not going to be beneficial to anybody as far as a PPR asset, but that's going to be the wheelhouse for Philip Lindsay. They're still going to utilize him in that form until Theo Riddick returns. Tariq Cohen off the board, followed by Tevin Coleman, who I am still very high on.
I am as well. That was going to be my pick here. I promise you. That was going to be my guy that I was going to draft. Damian Williams sitting there. I got 3 picks to go here. I'd love for Damian Williams to fall back to me. I think he's going to be a great running back this year. So please let him fall to me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think
especially because Devin Singletary, the other guy who between me and him, don't do it, JP. Don't do it, JP.
Devin Singletary off the board to
don't do it, JP.
Harwood and the SBFFC team. They listen to the podcast. I know for sure. They know our affinity for Devin Singletary here on this show.
Hey, made it. All right.
Oh my goodness!
All right, there we go. Damon. I was hoping he would make it all the way back. I knew Robert Woods would not. Damian Williams is the pick. Running to the bank in round 6, baby. Woo!
Man, and here at this point in time, Rudy was offsides. That is Mr. Charisma's team name. Let me take a shot here at who he's going to take with this pick here. I guarantee you, it's Hunter Henry. Oh yeah, I have a strong indication it's going to be Hunter Henry right here. Just a shot in the dark.
I think he knows my love for Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry about round 6 is about where you want to go there. So
and we'll see how it plays out. He's 20 seconds away from the pick. He got Miles Sanders.
Okay.
Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. I didn't see that one coming.
I think he's diversifying, Brandon.
Apparently he is. Apparently
I'm going to diversify. I'm going to be happy to let some tight ends wait around out there a little while. I think you can wait on tight end as witnessed by some of your drafts here.
Yeah, we can. I mean, that's something that seems to be in the cards here. And in an effort to continue to diversify my team,
so and you going Sammy Watkins?
Going to go with the guy that's going to be the expected starting running back for the Chargers with Mr. Melvin Gordon off the field, and that is Austin Eckler.
Okay.
That will be my pick there. He handled a majority of the workload while Melvin Gordon did miss time. He's going to be a guy that's going to be very valuable in PPR format. So having him as an RB4 on this roster, I think, is a very sound move on my part here.
Okay.
Smart pick, I would say. Smart pick.
Sure.
Don't sound too enthused by that pick there, but
I mean, I had Austin Eckler in my teams last year. He didn't necessarily just make
he was very inefficient as a running back last year. I'll give you that. I'm not gonna counter that argument in any way, shape, or form. He was not efficient when he was the starting running back. He was just not efficient. But what we continue to talk about, opportunities. He's going to get the opportunities on a high-scoring offense. So there's going to be chances for points to be scored from Austin Eckler. Evan Ingram, the pick made right behind me. So that kind of gives me a little bit of a warm, fuzzy feeling here myself here because I'm looking at grabbing a tight end with this next pick, and I've got two of them still sitting there staring at me in the face.
Interesting. I didn't figure you'd go tight end this early. There's a tight end guy this early. You normally let it wait out a little bit.
Well, I'm just looking at the tiers and how some of these players are breaking down. And do I want to go ahead and attack the higher tier at a position that we know is very muddied after the top 5 or 6 players? Or do I want to continue to grab other players off the board at other positions that
I think you should wait.
I'm sure you should. You think I should wait. And that's not going to be the case here. I'm not going to.
I've been trying to talk to you for 3 minutes to wait on tight end. I knew it wasn't
going to be the case here. I'm not going to take Hunter Henry. I'm actually going to diversify here and grab O.J. Howard, who yet to draft.
Good.
He is a player that is incredibly efficient on the field. So I want to see if he can really attack things this year, playing with Bruce Arians in a passing attack that's going to be a high-scoring offense. Well, let's see how that shakes out for O.J. Howard on this team. But
as long as we don't have two tight ends go back-to-back here, I'm okay.
Yeah, you're going. I have a feeling you're going to take whoever falls between.
I mean, I'd like to get Hunter Henry. If picks didn't fall the way they would, Damian Williams definitely would have been going, hey, I'm getting one of them. All right.
And then Sammy Watkins goes.
I don't like Sammy Watkins. Yeah, I had a feeling. It wasn't Hunter Henry wasn't going to make it back. God dang.
Nope, not with Mr. Charisma drafting here right in front of you. There was no way Hunter Henry was going to make it to you. So that means that you'll wind up probably with Jared. Or are you going to take a little bit longer and take another round and hope another guy falls to you?
I may. Let's see. No, we're in round 7. We do. Let's see what the value is here. I'm going to take a look at something here real quick.
You're going to take a look at something real quick with 20 seconds left on the clock.
That's right. Well, I'm in a position where you can take a look real quick and you can find some value there. I do like this guy. I think if he is healthy, he's going to be doing something. But let's go, Jared Cook.
Yeah, going with the safe route as the clock started to dwindle down.
Yeah, I kept looking at. I actually was looking at wide receiver there, but the next 15 guys all have the same kind of value.
Yeah,
on my board here. I don't really think that I'm going to diversify. Whereas, especially with Team SBFFC going double tight ends here in the first 3 rounds, there may be some guys worried about getting a tight end. So I have a feeling if I don't get them now, I'm going to get somebody I really don't like on the way back. So,
might as well lock it up while you can this early in the draft.
Adrian Green was going to be the guy I was going to go with. Drafted right behind me there.
The Bengals decided to not put him on short-term IR yesterday, which is a good indication. Like what I've said all along, he's going to be back anywhere from the first, week 2 to week 4. So if you draft accordingly and you can fill the time in between, you're going to get a guy that you're drafting as your wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Come back and produce wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 numbers for the remainder of the season. So, I mean, it's a great pick if you can pull it off, and I've done it in several leagues so far. But I think some people are starting to get a little bit wise to him. You're getting him right now, and we're in the round 7. That's about where you need to pull the trigger on an AJ Green in drafts.
100%. Yeah, this is. I really thought heavily about it. Normally, I am not as deep at wide receiver as I am in this particular draft format. So yeah, I went away from it. Normally I'd be drafting AJ Green at this standpoint, but yeah, the wide receivers I got, I'm pretty comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean the guys that are still left on the board around that area, I agree. I mean there's a pretty good wide range of guys that you could draft at the wide receiver position. It was smart to try to go ahead and wrap up that tight end position because there's odds are that there's going to be 2 to 3 probably taken off the board by the time your next pick comes up. So smart to pull the trigger on that.
Emmanuel Sanders
followed by Big Daddy
Denver Broncos. Big Daddy Bakes.
Emmanuel Sanders is the pick to, I believe, was that your brother's team there? Little Joe Nathan with the pick of
Emmanuel Little Joe Nathan. No, that's who is that? Let's see. Knock on wood is these guys changed their that's Jonathan. Okay.
That's what I thought brother. Earlier. Little brother goes with the Emmanuel Sanders pick there. I'm surprised we're not halting the draft yet again, ladies and gentlemen, because that doesn't seem like that was a very good pick to me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. We've got so many guys with the same team names in some of their drafts here that it's hard because one guy's like, oh, I think that sounds like a really cool name. I'm going to make that. So I'm having to jump back and remember who some of these guys actually are and what team they're. So because that actually – one of the good quirks about ESPN drafting is it doesn't list the actual individual; it just lists the team name.
So now we've got at the tail end of this round here, we've got Will Fuller off the board to the worthless bunch, and immediately followed with double wide receivers. Deshaun Jackson cannot sign off on Deshaun Jackson to start the 8th round. That is way too high, in my opinion.
Wow, maybe in a different format, but. Not this format.
Not at all. I can't. I mean, Matt Breida here in the 8th round. Matt Breida's kind of that's a solid pick there. I had to look that up. The team that took Matt Breida, did they also
take John McConaughey? That's Mr. McConaughey there. Let's see what we got. I don't know if I can even go over his team. Yeah, you can. Let's see when I first. Nope, Darius Geis, Mike Williams. No, he does not. That is not that team.
Okay. Because to me, that seems like if you're going to take Matt Breida, either you're really high on Matt Breida and you don't believe in Tevin Coleman, or you're going to go ahead and be smart and take the San Francisco running back position altogether. Would be the way I would go with it. But I am a big believer in Tevin Coleman. I think he's going to have a very, very solid year this year. So I can't really sign on that.
Royce Freeman right in front of me. I'm going to go out there on a limb. I have not had this guy in quite a few years, but we're going to go with Mr. Discount double check himself in the 8th round, Aaron Rodgers. Fell a little bit further than I would have imagined, but I mean, with a guy like that value falling this far, give him to me all day, every day.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That seems like it sounds like a very sound move there.
It sounds like a pissed off move from your spot. Sounds like all
Nah,
your quarterbacks are getting taken there, B.
I'm good.
I ain't getting my quarterbacks.
James Washington coming off the board here. The 8th round still seems a little bit high to me. So trying to kind of catch back up on some of the picks that are being made here the last few.
Woo, B, I'm liking this draft right here, B.
Yeah, so far I do like how my team is unfolding throughout the early.
Let's see what you got here. I mean, you definitely got some running backs there. I'm wondering about some of the other positions you got there.
Well, we'll see how this pans out as the rest of my draft is.
Who are you hoping for right here? Who's you got a pick in front of you? Who do you hope does not get taken right here by Mercy? Never mind. I have a feeling it wasn't Marvin Jones who you were selecting.
It was not going to be Marvin Jones. For me here, the guy that's falling to me currently right now, and a guy that I am pretty high on, developed a little bit of love late in the process through the offseason here. Going to be the pick of Curtis Samuel.
I had a feeling you were going that way. That's who I was hoping would fall. But
yeah, I mean, guys got some upside in that offense. That seems like him and Cam Newton are really hitting things off. So I made the pick of Mr. Curtis Samuel there.
I like the pick.
Yeah,
not gonna lie, I do like the pick.
Pick on my behalf there. I do like that. Let's see here. Trying to get everything caught back up. Only bad thing about trying to keep up with this and do a draft is sometimes you miss a pick, and when you miss a pick, it throws the complete board off for you. So then Jordan Howard to end round 8. Yeah, I mean it's maybe a decent pull this late in the draft. I'm not sure I can really go on board with that one.
Yeah, I mean at this point, I mean he is the starting running back in Philadelphia. I mean that's not a horrible pick.
No, not a horrible pick. He's technically the starting running back, but I think we both know that that's going to be a situation where it's going to be Miles Sanders really taking hold of that job at some point in the season. Let's see. I mean, there's a guy on the board that I'm just staring at that I really, really want to draft, but
will you pull the trigger? Never mind. I just saw who it is.
Nah, I mean, I really want to pull the trigger on the guy, but I can't do it. And if you think it's Rashad Penny, who is shown listed as the top player available on this draft board, that is not the pick. What I'm really looking at here is.
I'm shocked that's not the pick. Wow.
No, it's. I don't think he's going to be involved enough in that rushing attack this year. And I'm also 4 deep at running back still currently right now with 4 really, really good running backs currently. So I can kind of wait on that position for a second. And the guy that I'm going to take here,
kicker.
Going to go with wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald.
Interesting.
We're in a PPR format, playing for an Arizona Cardinals team that's going to be trailing a lot in ball games. They're going to have to throw the ball to keep up, and I think Kyler Murray is going to kind of settle in and find old reliable there, Mr. Larry Fitzgerald, a lot during the season. So he's currently on my bench. He's wide receiver 4. I think that's about where you want to take a guy like a Larry Fitzgerald.
Sounds about right.
Yep. I mean, the other pick, I'll say this, since I'm not going to get a chance to get him, already got Amari Cooper on the team. Michael Gallup is a guy that I've not drafted yet, but I definitely want a piece of. And I couldn't fathom drafting 2 Dallas wide receivers on this team. But now I think there's going to be a very, very large uptick in production from Michael Gallup this year, especially on the touchdown production side.
Right. Yeah, I would not want 2 Dallas Cowboys guys here. So coming out on my board here, I've got a couple running backs here. I think staring me at the face.
You're at Elliott Jacobs and
Damian Williams. So I personally think I'm solid. I am going to go with the guy who I think is going to be the best available running back out of this group. I'm going to reach a little down the board here, but get a guy who I really like. I think when Melvin Gordon does leave, this guy's going to be the guy to take over, Justin Jackson.
Justin Jackson, the pick here in the 9th round. That's could turn out to be a very solid pick. That might be something where me and you.
I am a Justin Jackson truther.
I mean, I am
take it from the guy who had both
last year. So
take it from the guy who had Justin Jackson and Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler really did not perform up to snuff when he was given the reins. Justin Jackson did. So
Mark Andrews right behind you, solidifying the tight end position there. I think that's you're getting to the point now where Mark Andrews seems to be the first on the tier of the guys that are just all kind of about the same type of a player. And then there you go. We got Team SBFFC, Dr. Brian Harwood, Matt Krantz there. I'm pretty sure listening to our live stream here and heard me gushing about Michael Gallup and decided to pull the trigger on young Michael Gallup there. Darrell Henderson, the pick. They're right behind Michael Gallup, followed by Naheem Hines. How are we feeling on Darrell Henderson right now? Like he's cooled off tremendously since 2 months ago, where everyone was drafting him super incredibly early. How are we feeling with now?
I don't think his value's changed any. I mean, we still don't really know much about Todd Gurley. If we did, he'd be going top 5 overall if we knew exactly what was going to happen there. So, I mean, he's a guy that if I own Todd Gurley, I want to get Darrell Henderson. So, yeah, that's my take on him. If I better be getting Darrell Henderson if I've got Todd Gurley.
Yeah, that's a situation you really do have to kind of go ahead and pull the trigger there. You've got to get Darrell Henderson, which to me, I mean, if you don't get Darrell Henderson, if Todd Gurley goes down, let's be honest, it's going to be Malcolm Brown that's going to get the carries.
I disagree.
I really do. I
disagree. I do not think Malcolm Brown is worth anything. Darrell Henderson is a game changer if he's the man. He's a game changer.
I thought the same thing last year with John Kelly making it to that team. I thought if something were to happen with Todd Gurley, which something did happen to Todd Gurley last year, I assumed that it was going to be John Kelly that was going to take over that role in that offense, and then gave the ball to Malcolm Brown and then pulled C.J. Anderson off the street to come in and play for this team instead of going.
And that's why I think that Malcolm Brown is not that good, because they literally brought in C.J. Anderson off the street.
Because Malcolm Brown himself also got hurt towards the end of the year last year. They had to bring in another running back.
Yeah, I don't really remember that, but yeah. Dante Moncrief. Yeah, Cortland Sutton. Yeah, I didn't think he'd have a chance to make it back there.
Dante Moncrief, followed by Cortland Sutton. And you were thinking you were going to get a shot at Rashad Penny there, who just went, I'm assuming.
I mean, I had a chance to get Rashad Penny again. I think Justin Jackson is a guy who, for me, whenever I took him, I think he has the potential to be a lead back, whereas Rashad Penny, Chris Carson looks like he's kind of taken over there. So
all right. Hey, Chris Carson is definitely a guy that I've tried to get in some drafts, but I've just not been able to get him at the appropriate value so far. But Chris Carson is a guy that he's moved up my rankings as the offseason has progressed. So everything you hear out of Seattle is that they're really hoping to ride Chris Carson a lot this year, and we'll see how that pays off for the team.
Russell Wilson, who do you want here, quarterback, Brandon?
Say what?
Who? Miller.
Anthony Miller gets pulled there off another receiver off the Bears offense that we're just.
We're going with my boy who I've been truthing on for a long time here, right down there in your draft board at 110, the true number 1 receiver in Oakland, Tyrell Williams.
There you go.
Come on down.
He's not going to give you much value PPR wise, but he's definitely going to see an uptick when it comes to actual touchdowns scored this year.
I think he's going to get again. Antonio Brown's a head case for me. Give me Tyrell Williams all day
I
long.
still think. I mean, as much as
round 10,
Brown is a head case. We've talked about as much as he is a head case. I still think he's a guy that's going to get. I mean, he's going to get looks. Let's not really. Let's call a spade here. I mean,
okay.
You're not going to bring in an Antonio Brown and not give him the ball. DK Metcalf to Mr. Charisma here.
I'm just saying. I think something's gonna. I think something's gonna happen where Antonio Brown's gonna bitch about his helmet, or something's gonna happen to where he's not gonna be on the team by midseason.
So then we got David Njoku coming off the board right in front of me.
Never mind. I just saw you're picking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who am I going to be picking here? I've got 45 seconds here.
Are you going quarterback?
I'm actually going to go quarterback here. Yes, correct.
You're going Kyler Murray, Brandon.
Oh, you think so?
That's what I think. I don't think you're going to go Dak Prescott and make it a whole Cowboys offense here. So, I think that's where you're going.
Actually, I am going to not go with either one of those two options here. I am going to go with a quarterback, but I'm going to go with the guy that finished third in fantasy last year.
Woo, Big Ben.
And that is going to be Big Ben.
That's right.
Coming to the fantasy roster here to head my quarterback tandem.
I've got Big Ben and my number one in way too many leagues, and I love it.
I've got him now. I think this probably might be my third.
I'm not a fan of that.
He's going to be he's my number one, but
that's not bad, dude. Big Ben is your number one quarterback is not a bad thing. I love Big Ben.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the pick. I do like that with him there. The real question is going to be what do I want to do with the next pick after the double picks by the Goodell Goons, Mr. Philip Hampton here at the end of round 10, start of round 11. He goes Jalen Richard with his first pick.
That's how you know it's good. We're sitting here drafting and get a text from Mr. Charisma. God, I hate drafting next to you.
We've been in leagues together for so long. You know the mindset of the players that you play with, and that's what you're running into with drafts like this right here. It's just you have a feeling that the guy's going to get taken right in front of you, and that's typically what happens in these type of drafts. And now we got Kiki QT with the pick right in front of me, who I believe loses a little bit of value.
Definitely so.
After yesterday's events transpired with the trades that the Texans did make. So now what do I want to do? I want to go and jump back into the running back pool here. And I want to go and grab a guy that I've talked about on several podcasts, a guy that I'm high on. And this is going to be a situation where you go and grab your guy because you know he's not going to make it back to you. And that will be Mr.
Dare Ogunbunwale.
Justice Hill will be my pick here.
That guy.
Yes. The guy that Nick's not sold on, but I definitely am. And
I'm not sold on this year.
I have a feeling that's going to upset Mr. Charisma. That was probably a player he might have been looking at in this instance. And I'm definitely very high on Justice Hill, who is now my RB5 on this roster. Chances are he's going to take a lot of work as the year progresses. Ingram's going to do a lot of the rushing work for the team. We've talked about this. But Hill's a guy that I think the talent, they've seen it on the field during the preseason, has all kinds of ability. He's definitely going to be a guy they're going to out of the backfield, pass catching wise. Solid pick in a PPR format.
I'm a fan. Who I'm not a fan of is Drew Brees.
Drew Brees continues to slide down my board in the rankings. I'm not expecting a lot out of this team passing wise this year. I mean, you saw the dip in production last year, passing yardage wise.
And right behind him, the other
guy, Tom Brady, right behind him, as people think we've got to get our quarterbacks now. We're sitting here in the 11th round. We've got to get our quarterbacks, got to get them off the board, need them now. let them go ahead. And then some of these cases, you probably got
need them, got to get them. These are probably guys I haven't really had a chance to check their teams out.
Do they have? That would be my question. Some of these
I don't know
teams,
if these guys do have a quarterback or not. I haven't really had a chance to check here. Actually, let's go take a look. Farley did not have a quarterback when he got Brady, and have mercy, the third team there did have he had a quarterback, so that was his backup. I'm going Golden Tate. He's the last best wide receiver I've got on this team here.
there you go.
That's my guy there. I've got to get one of the suspended wide receivers here at some point, right? So I was almost going to go AJ Green. Golden Tate is a fine addition.
Also, a situation where they're going to be throwing the ball a ton there in New York. The Giants are going to be trailing a lot. That defense is just not very good. He comes back from the 4-game suspension. We've talked about it over and over again on this show. He will be a guy that's going to catch a lot of passes. Will he get into the end zone? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really know, but he's one of those guys when he's been healthy, man. He has balled out. So, I mean, he's definitely a guy who anywhere he's gone, he's done really well. So,
there we go. A little Darwin Thompson action here.
I don't think Dr. Harwood and Krantz are read up on today's news about LaShawn McCoy getting signed, because I think that kills Darwin Thompson's value.
It absolutely kills Darwin Thompson's value. I am in agreement. In agreement with you on that one. That's for sure.
I was never a Darwin Thompson truther anyway. I mean, I always thought the guy who I got, Damian Williams, I thought he was the guy. He showed what he needed to show last year in this offense. LaShawn McCoy is going to ding his value a little bit, but I think he's still going to be the guy, and LaShawn McCoy is going to come in and kind of spell him from time to time. But, yeah.
Yeah, he takes a major hit in value. I'm not going to disagree with you there. He's a guy that I was getting to be more and more high on as the offseason was progressing, and then with the preseason games started, and then people were starting to become hip to Darwin Thompson, and his ADP just continued to rise up boards to the point to where I was becoming unwilling to draft him because he was going earlier than I wanted to take a shot at him.
Yeah, I just saw this, B. Where's your Cowboys flag at back there? You took it down so you could did you put a shelf up back there with your
readjusted the setup back behind me. The Cowboys flag is presented right here underneath, but I wanted to show, this fine piece of hardware from Fantasy Jocks that I got from winning the Flex League last year. Fine piece of hardware right there, ladies and gentlemen.
I got behind me. If you didn't see the last time, there's a picture of old Turner Field back there, with a little black and white that I've got. So there you go.
Which we won't. Let's talk about the team that plays on Turner Field right now. They actually defeated our Tennessee Vols yesterday.
Yeah, you really want to bring that up?
We're in a sad situation here as Tennessee fans, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a sad situation.
Yeah, it's just it's pretty much let's burn the program down. We lost to a far inferior team. It's time to start things over again as a Tennessee Vols fan.
It all starts at the helm there, and we haven't exactly hired the right head coach in quite a while.
Well, and I had plenty of discussions through the Tennessee message board today. Lots of back and forth with these diehard Tennessee fans from East Tennessee that can't see past their nose. Basically, just letting them know, guys, we haven't been good in 20 years. Do we really have it in us to sit here and say that we step on a field and we deserve to beat a team? No. I mean, we barely beat Appalachian State in the past. We've barely beat Ohio State or Ohio in the past. Who's to say we're going to step on the field and beat anybody these days? You can't.
100%.
You cannot just show up on the field, the T's on your helmet, and think you're going to get a victory.
Not anymore.
Nope. Not at all. So now we're kind of catching things up. We're starting to get a little bit of a defense run. Bears come off the board, first pick here in round 12, followed by Dion Lewis, and the Eagles defense right behind them.
A couple of Tampa Bay guys going back to that.
All right. Ronald Jones, followed by Jameis Winston. Ronald Jones, one of the 3 running backs that the Buccaneers did keep on the roster through cut down day. We've got Peyton Barber, Ronald Jones, and another person on that roster.
Speaking about the Broncos, we got a Deshaun Hamilton sighting.
Oh, Bayshawn Hamilton there. Bayshawn Hamilton, that has been dubbed Bayshawn by Jake Seeley.
Bayshawn Hamilton.
Bayshawn Hamilton. He's been high on Deshaun Hamilton ever since he came through the draft process last year. So,
I'm sitting up right here. I think Zeke is going to be back. I really do. But just in case this late, I've got to go Tony Pollard just to make sure. At the very least, he's going to start week 1. I don't know even if he signs today if Zeke will be back by next week. So
that is true. I'll give you that. I still even think that he's going to have some value. He's played too well in preseason to not hold some value moving forward on the offense. So they're going to utilize him some way, shape, or form, I believe. So, I mean, you're getting him right now at a discount in the 12th round where, say just a week ago, you're having to grab this guy in the 7th or 8th round. So that's just an indication of how he's falling now.
Right.
Let's see.
Devontae Parker. I don't know why. I think it's going to be Devontae Parker's year. Mainly because
are you buying into that?
I bought into it in a couple of leagues. I mean, he's not. I mean, I think he's about the right, kind of guy. But I mean, look at the value. Click your wide receiver board real quick. Just look at the value that's on here. Paul Richardson, Mohamed Sanu, you know what you're going to get. Albert Wilson, I don't really know. Marquise Brown is not exactly in a pass-happy offense that you got there. DJ Shark, you got a lot of people there. Terry McLaurin, I like his value. Beasley, Funchess, Deebo Samuel, rookie. Chris Conley, Nicole Hardman, rookie. Ted Ginn. Devontae Parker's got the value right here. That's the guy that I want. So
Kareem Hunt comes off the board. Guy that's really not going to be available until week 10. Have fun holding on to that player all year long. I can't.
And you're on the board.
I'm on the board currently right now, and what's kind of falling into my lap here, and a situation where I think I'll be able to play matchups on a weekly basis and hopefully play things out the right way here. And I'm going to go back to the quarterback pool, and I will go with the homer pick here and take Mr. Dak Prescott as my backup quarterback.
Thank you. Go ahead and get him off the board.
Oh, I mean, he's a guy that as much as I harp on him and bag on the guy, he consistently finishes right there as a fringe QB1 over the last several years. And if Kellen Moore can do anything creative with this offense, he's a guy that can go from a guy that's going to finish 12th, 13th on the board up to 8th, 9th. And I'm getting him here as my backup quarterback in the 12th round. I'm not going to argue that.
Sure.
But now we're here ending round 12, going into round 13. Things are starting to get thin out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Especially this crew here. They, the guys who you can wait on and get in some other leagues, you're not necessarily going to be able to find out here like you would otherwise.
Exactly. I agree with that. Mohamed Sanu, last pick of round 12. Definitely a guy that I've not got any interest in right now whatsoever.
I mean, if you need a consistent guy to just go out and put up points, he's a good guy to be able to take. But if you're trying to get a guy that's going to finish top 20, he ain't it.
Yeah, if you want 4 catches for 38 yards every week, Mohamed Sanu is your guy.
Right.
But
he is the Gio Bernard of wide receivers.
Rams defense coming off the board here to start round 13. Still too early for me to even think about taking a defense, ladies and gentlemen. But what I'm going to do, jump back into the wide receivers here and go with a guy that I think benefits the most with the trade of Kenny Stills, and that's going to be Albert Wilson. Showed some promise last year before the injury, back fully healthy on a team that's going to have to throw the ball a crap ton. Albert Wilson's a guy that, he might not be the most consistent option, but wide receiver 5 on my team here in round 13. I think he's a guy that can pop in certain weeks on the right matchup. So I think Albert Wilson's I'll go with that sound pick here for me here in round 13.
All right.
now, as we kind of get back towards you here, let's go look at the team. Aaron Rodgers, Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, Evans, Galladay Woods, Jared Cook, Damian Williams is your starting group currently. You've got Justin Jackson, Tyrell Williams, Golden Tate, Tony Pollard. Need some help at running back, I believe, and that might be where you're looking at with this pick. If I had to take a guess.
I don't know. I mean,
Trey Burton off the board here, ladies and gentlemen, who will not be on the field week 1 for your Chicago Bears.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What happened there?
Still fighting an injury. He's not practiced at all. Bears put out information earlier today, and it's funny that I'm giving the Bears fan information on his own team here. But yes, the Bears.
You're the expert, B.
Basically announced today that Trey Burton not looking like he's going to play Thursday night against the Packers to open up the NFL season. And so for all of our DFS fans out there, Adam Shaheen, ladies and gentlemen, remember that name. That is going to be a guy that if you play week-long DFS and you include the Thursday night matchup, he's going to be a guy that's going to be so cheap, it's going to be hard to not put him on your roster.
Who? Adam Shaheen.
Where
did he go to college, B?
Golly, I can't remember.
Ashland,
that's right. I mean, that was a guy that, as of 2 years ago, coming out of college, I wrote about him when I was with Roto Experts. I was high on the guy coming out of college. Goes to the Chicago Bears. I felt like that was the perfect fit for you guys.
Well, he's been hurt a lot.
And he's been somewhat dinged up and hurt, but then they signed Trey Burton. They get Mitchell Trubisky, and it's just not been the same. It's not been the same for a guy like Shaheen since. We got Deebo Samuel coming off the board here. We're getting into the meat part of this draft here in rounds 13. Like I said,
not a lot of meat on that bone, B.
Not too much meat on the bone in this draft. We're starting to kind of run thin at a lot of positions. I just it's tough out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now we got Mecole Hardman coming off the board.
I mean, you're talking me going running back here. I mean, I think I'm good at running back. Zeke is going to be a top 5 overall. Josh Jacobs, I've got being a number 1 running back by the end of the year. Damian Williams does what I think he's going to do. I'll be right there. Again, I backed up Tony Pollard with Zeke Elliott. That position's strung and good to go. I've got Justin Jackson, who I think, if things shake out, I do need one more running back just to make myself feel a little good inside. I've got a little pick for you here in just a second.
Okay. I'll be waiting on pins and needles, as will everyone else.
I can hear it in your voice. You're waiting on
that is watching this draft on YouTube currently right now, and that will be listening to it on the podcast. We're all waiting with so much anticipation.
I see what position you're looking at here next.
Oh, do you now?
It's got running back that's on your board there, so just
I'm floating around all the positions just to see what's available on ESPN versus through my own rankings currently. So just kind of looking around, seeing what's out there. Kyle Rudolph taken. Then we have TJ Hawkinson off the board.
TJ Hawkinson.
Now we're at the end of round 13. The Titans. See, we got Eric Ebron. We got a little bit of a Titan, a tight end run going. Then the Titans defense to start round 14. Not sure I'm expecting much out of that Titans defense. They're a very ho-hum defense.
Especially after Avery Williamson left and then they got hurt and done for the rest of the year.
They don't score a lot of points. They're just steady. They're a better NFL defense than they are an actual fantasy defense.
Quite true. Just like the early days of Tom Brady, much better quarterback than he was a fantasy quarterback.
Yes, and then that all kind of came about in a different way there. Carlos Hyde finally off the board. The guy that's splitting time potentially with Duke.
No, I didn't get him, Brandon.
Should have handcuffed Duke Johnson there. So Greg Zuerlein, first kicker off the board here. I have to give the proverbial laugh to that because, oh my goodness, we're drafting kickers in round 14 of a 17-round draft. Get out of here.
Not a lot of value, but there's value, B.
Sure. Sure. I mean, we all know how I feel about the kicker position at this point in time. They're all the same guy.
They're not, but they're not all the same guy.
Yeah, whatever.
Have Harrison Butker on your team, and then have somebody else on your team, and let's see what you think.
Or just get a different kicker every week with the best matchup and score just as many points. How about that? That's what I do. Maybe you pick up a kicker every single week, drop the kicker you had the week before, move on to another guy with a better matchup the next week. Boom, there you go. Scoring.
But how are you gonna pick a kicker based on matchup? Like I don't understand that.
Because if it's a bad matchup, if you've got a team that's halfway decent offense against a team that's a very bad defense, obviously the kicker is going to have more opportunity to score points.
I think completely differently than you do on that position. You know what my strategy is at kicker. Oh wow, we just had a pick that my wife would absolutely love. Player who she refers to as Rufio just got picked, and she is now up and at him. She was fading pretty quick over here next to me.
She was pulling the Heffley.
That's right. She was.
She was pulling the Heffley. And then Dr. Hunter Renfro gets taken. The reason why I refer to him as Dr. Hunter Renfro is because he looks like he is a guy that's about to perform surgery, and he's been a doctor for several years.
Performing surgery on the defense.
Yes, he's slicing up defenses through the slot position.
So I'm going with a guy right here. I was hoping he'd make it back. Chris Thompson. I don't know who the hell is going to take the reins in that offense there, but this is a PPR league. I have a feeling that he is going to get some receptions at worst in this offense here.
Okay, then. So, let's see. Chris Thompson. We got Gio Bernard there.
Rufio.
No. Roofy. No.
Cole Beasley, a Murkison favorite
of years past. Yeah, sure. Cole Beasley off the board. What direction do I want to go in here? That is
how many directions, dude?
There's a few options here, and just based on the news from yesterday.
So I take it with that you're going running back.
Yep, based on the news from yesterday, and I'm just going to kind of pull the trigger here and give it a shot, see how things play out. He's going to be my last running back that I'm going to take in this draft. We're going to go with the ageless Frank Gore and see how things play off early in the season. There's a good chance that he's going to still get some run for this team. And if he does, I mean, it's a horrible, horrible situation for my Devin Singletary love, who I did not get in this draft. But who knows? Maybe Frank Gore is a guy that comes in there, gets some of that goal line work, and gets some touchdown potential here.
Okay. All righty.
Yeah. It's a shot in the dark. We're throwing darts here late in this draft.
You're definitely throwing some darts, that's for sure.
I mean, that's RB6 for me, I believe, here. So, yeah, I mean.
Malcolm Brown, who you were quite high on there.
Not that I'm high on. I just think
gotcha.
if you buy into the Todd Gurley injury situation, I think, like I said, I think he's going to be the guy that's going to get the ball just from what I've seen that coaching staff has put in place. I think Malcolm Brown's going to be the guy that they're going to give the ball to. And whereas Darrell Henderson's going to be the guy that's going to keep his same role, whether or not Gurley's on the field or not.
Okay.
So now we've ended round 14. We're into round 15 here. I've got myself one more bench spot open. Then I have to fill the kicker and the kicker position as well as the defensive position. We've got Sam Darnold coming off the board. Solid pick there. I am a Sam Darnold fan.
Fantasy favorite.
Fantasy favorite is right. Definitely on board with that pick. Whereas now what we're looking at here is Where do I want to go?
Where do you want to go?
There's a few options out there. Not many that I'm excited about, but I want to go with more of a wide receiver play here. Possibly a little bit of a reach, but with Josh Doxson now gone from the Redskins, you have some options there at wide receiver who none have been drafted so far. And I will go with the rookie, Terry McLaurin.
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
Good pick.
I think he's going to be the guy that's going to get the most looks out of that offense.
He should, especially in week 3 or 4, whenever we have the myth, Dwayne Haskins take over for that offense there. So
correct. And you always love it when you're bored. The only thing that's listed, if you're watching live on YouTube right now, only thing that's listed left on the screen is the is the kickers and defenses, because that is the only team, the only players I have left to draft currently.
Yeah, that's how your board should look, Brandon.
Yeah, and if you followed this podcast or listened to us in previous years, that is definitely the thing that we're gonna put that out for you. And it's the last 2 rounds of your draft. That's when you should be drafting your kicker and your defense. Don't reach for those guys any earlier than you need to. There's no
except for me. I've gotten this defense in darn near every league so far. I don't really like the rest of the defense that are there, minus the Denver Broncos defense. But I'm going with my number 2 overall defense right behind the Chicago Bears, the LA Superchargers.
There we go. Not a bad pick. I think that they have a chance to be the top scoring defense in fantasy this year. Actually,
we've talked about it, man. Their schedule is so easy down the stretch.
It
so
really
easy.
is. That is very true. They've got the front to get you the points, get after the quarterback that can score points with sacks, create turnovers. That secondary is not bad. Plenty of opportunities for them to get in the end zone with the defensive scores this year too. Great,
absolutely.
This one off the board here.
I hate Greg. I've hated Greg Olsen the last 3 years. Don't even get him anywhere near my team.
Well, he can't. The guy can't stay on the field. Let's be honest about it.
That's half of it. The other thing is Cam Newton didn't throw him the ball.
A couple of years ago, they had a kind of a bit of a resurgence, and Greg Olsen was somewhat valuable, but then he does get hurt and misses the remainder of the year, which he seems to always do. So that's the risk you're taking with Greg Olsen there, but it's also a situation where I'm sure that that's the second tight end that they drafted. I'm not on board with that myself. Garoppolo. Now we have Justin Tucker. Now we're just going to go through and wrap up this draft, and we're going to fill some spots up and finish up our rosters. Once we get done with the draft here, we'll kind of have a brief overview, talk about how we felt about the draft, see how things unfolded.
I knew I didn't like going tight end in round 1. There's a reason I would have never got Travis Kelce. But I really don't like going 2 out of the first 3. I feel like I would not have a good team in that case.
No. I have a feeling once we kind of pull up a little bit of the rankings from the team, we'll go through and see how the teams are projected to finish here on the app at the end of the draft. I have a feeling that team is not going to be finishing very high, and that is the SBFFC team for Dr. Harwood.
It is. We are using the RotoWire draft kit. Here that is. There we go. Can you see that? There we go. There we go. RotoWire draft kit. I love it, but I tell you what, I don't like being ranked very high by this thing. Every time it ranks you really high and thinks, "Oh, you did a really good job," your team sucks. So
yeah, I agree.
Anything I want to be ranked about 3 or 4. I feel like if I did that, I'll be feeling a lot better about my team.
Adrian Peterson off the board. Amazing to see how far Adrian Peterson's fallen down the board now ever since Darius Geis's 1 preseason game a week ago. Peterson was the guy that was getting drafted really, really close to Darius Geis in a lot of drafts. And now you're seeing him here to begin round 16. And that guy's going to get on the field. He's going to get.
He is going to get on the field again. That's why I like Chris Thompson only because I think they are going to be behind in a lot of games, and I think they're going to have to be throwing the ball. Enter Chris Thompson.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to see Geis and Peterson really kind of get the hot hand approach early on in the year, but Thompson's going to be the guy that's going to come out of the backfield on passing downs. We all seen it before. He's fairly valuable in PPR formats when he's on the field and healthy, so not a bad pick.
Let's see. I got to do some strategizing here for this last pick here.
Strategery.
That's right. Okay. Who do you have? Let's see what we
Yeah,
got here.
who do I have? Oh, okay. Never mind. I need to. What kind of shitty question was that?
Oh, never mind. I just realized.
I'm not going position player.
Well, then that actually goes into my strategy because I know if this guy were there, you would pick him. So.
Well, let's go ahead. Do you want to go ahead and preface it? Do you want to say who you might be looking at?
No, hell no, because then he's going to go to pick right before him because I know some of these dudes are listening to this. So no, I do not.
Jack Doyle gets taken here. Yeah.
I'm going to let you know if this guy pops up, I'm going to let my wife pick him because
Patriots.
I'm not going to say a word just yet here because he's not. If I speak his name, God damn it! Never mind.
Harrison Butker, the pick by Dr. Brian Harwood's team.
That is my favorite kicker, and of course he goes right in front of me.
If we're feeling heartache in round 16 of a draft over a kicker drafted, then we need to reassess how we're drafting. I think
that's just my favorite kicker, man. There's nothing like being here and seeing and saying butt kicker points. That's a Heffley household favorite over here, but I'm not going to be able to say it this year, at least in this league. Yeah.
So where are we thinking at now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I'm okay with any of those kickers. Yeah, we're going to go with
Jordan Reed. Hopefully, the mushed brain Jordan Reed will be able to get onto the field.
Looks like he is projected to be on the field week 1. So
I think, he did suffer another concussion, so odds are they kept him off of practices and tried to keep him a little bit healthy to get ready for the start of the season. I think that's a guy. If you're drafting 2 tight ends, that's a guy you can target and hopefully see how it plays out. You can drop him if things are just not looking well early on in the year and go a different route with a player to fill your roster with. So see how
he's a guy if he is healthy. I think anyway
can have a bounce back.
I think he's the number 1 receiving option in that offense.
I'm not sure about that because I think if Dwayne Haskins is on the field, which he probably will be on the field rather early, I think just a round to go with Terry McLaurin is going to be the guy that's going to get a little bit of the run there. I think because of the rapport that they have from college is going to show. And
I think Terry McLaurin wide receiver wise is going to be good, but you know how rookie quarterbacks love throwing the tight ends.
Let's go ahead and draft my defense here with the Buffalo Bills defense.
It's your Buffalo Bills defense.
Haven't drafted them yet. I've got the Denver Broncos in a lot of drafts. I've gotten some of the other teams, and then
the wife would be very upset with you that you drafted the Bills over the Broncos. That is clearly not as good of a pick.
Well, that is a diversification for me. I've got too many. I think there's too many leagues I do actually have the Broncos in right now. So let me get a different defense just to try to play a little different scenario here.
There's diversification, and then there's like me last year. I got George Kittle in a lot of leagues.
I'll tell you this right now. After the trade that was made yesterday, I would have probably leaned more towards drafting the Seattle Seahawks defense more than I would have the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's see here. We got Will Lutz kicker off the board right in front of me.
Which kicker are you going?
Drafting my kicker here, and I'm going to draft the kicker that I think is going to be on one of probably either the first or second highest scoring offense in the NFL in 2019. That's going to be Mr. Kaimi Fairbairn from your Houston Texans, and my draft is complete, ladies and gentlemen.
Matt Bryant.
Matt Bryant, who's now
recently signed
back with the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, and of course that is the team from Atlanta that takes Matt Bryant as their kicker. Let's hope the
nope, that was not him.
That was not him.
He's drafting behind me there, Brent.
Oh, okay then. Thought that was the same guy.
That was let's see, that was Have Mercy. Neil Lowry. There you go.
Ah, okay.
Hey Neil, I know Neil's listening.
Yeah, you have to figure Neil's listening to this podcast.
Neil's listening just for the very same thing. What's up, Philip? I know both those guys are out there. If at worst, just to hear what our thoughts are on guys, like, let's go ahead and take them.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's how you play out a draft when the guys that are hosting the draft are actually in the league.
I know. I would be okay. Steven Gostkowski. I guess that's where I'm going.
I mean, that's might have the mighty have fallen.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed. I mean, I actually like Gostkowski more than I normally do. He's in an offense that I don't think will necessarily be able to score a ton of touchdowns. So
touchdowns are not going to come as
at least. No, well, I should say that at least as much as they have been in years past.
I agree. I think there's going to be more attempts at field goals this year for that team.
And the guy who I think I've drafted damn near every week in the last round, Mike Badgley.
I have quite a few Mike Badgley ownerships myself. And wrapping up this draft.
3 picks to go. Just about done.
Yeah, let's hurry up and get this bad boy over with here. I think the Chris Herndon pick by Little Joe Nathan is I listened to my brother in the podcast, and they talk about drafting a suspended player late in the draft, and I think that's what that pick was made.
It's not a bad pick. I mean, if Jordan Reed hadn't been off the board, I'd probably gone Chris Herndon this late. So
yeah.
All right. So what are your thoughts on your team there?
Let's see. Picking from the second spot, I was a little worried how some of the value was going to kind of come back and forth to me. But I actually do like how things kind of unfolded. With McCaffrey at the second spot, Fournette, Mari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, I think I've got a good solid foundation to start with. Wound up, of course, the quarterbacks wound up going off the board a little bit faster than I anticipated, but the two guys that I did get with Roethlisberger and Dak Prescott, I think are going to be solid options for me to play throughout the year.
Oh wow, I don't know if I like this.
Feeling good there.
So I just punched up. Let's see if we can check. So I just punched up who's going to win the draft. Unfortunately for me, let's see if we can regulate that. That's me sitting about 100 points in front of Tyler Fisk out there in the top spot.
Yeah,
so I don't know that I like that, but it's got me at 12 wins. It has you right in the middle of the pack there.
Yes, I'm very, very happy with that. Then,
yeah,
I do like that. I went mostly through my own rankings as I did this draft, which I really was kind of. If you were watching live on YouTube, you did kind of see me kind of scroll through some of the positions from time to time during the draft. But that was more or less just to kind of find a player that I'm higher on my rankings list and to see where they're at on that board. But yeah, I'm very pleased with what the value was presented with me in this draft from the 2 spot. I think I've got a team that's going to compete very well, and I'll be there at the end of the year, competing for a playoff spot and contending for a title with this team.
Yeah. I've liked your drafts in some other leagues that we've done. don't like it necessarily in this spot. I like Big Ben. I like McCaffrey. I like Sony Michel. I personally hate Leonard Fournette. I like Amari Cooper. I am now not a T.Y. Hilton fan. I like Curtis Samuel. I don't necessarily like O.J. Howard. Again, I have had Jameis Winston. He may throw to O.J. Howard a little bit more, but he seems to be a Cameron Brate guy more than he seems to be an O.J. Howard guy. So I like not love.
Yeah,
I think you're going to be there. You're going to be fighting for a spot. If you pick up a good running back in there to spell Leonard Fournette whenever he has his crazy mental breakdown, then yeah, you'll be fine. Woo, that's right.
That's right. You gotta have. I mean, Lord knows Leonard Fournette. He's going to be scoring 2 touchdowns in week 1, and I'm going to be sitting over here doing this number right here. Yeah, get in the end zone, Leonard Fournette.
And then you unplug your PlayStation and realize that is not real life.
I will actually will say this. The only time that I've owned Leonard Fournette in some of the bigger leagues that I've done was the rookie season when he came.
He had a good year.
Had a great year. I had him in the SBFFC in the Kentucky draft and balled out for me. And I've really kind of been off of him the last couple seasons based on primarily with the injury concerns or just I didn't believe in the offense whatsoever. But like I said, I've said with Dede Westbrook on this program before, they have the chance to really turn things around with this offense now. With Nick Foles there, they're going to implement more of that Eagles type of offense. So it's going to open up things more space wise for Leonard Fournette in the running game. And if he's motivated, which he should be at this point in time, guy's going to put up top 10 numbers if he plays enough games. If he's on the field, and that's what we're talking about.
It's always my problem with Leonard Fournette. I don't think he's going to put enough time on the field.
And if that's the case, I've got Sony Michel, a guy that's going to be up there in the rankings his own self.
I think he's going to be your guy.
Even still, I will gladly take having Leonard Fournette at RB2, Sony Michel at my flex, and flip-flopping those guys on a week-in, week-out basis. That's just how it is. Wide receivers in currently at the moment. But if T.Y. Hilton has a very good, solid year with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, I got him a great value, whereas, just 2 weeks ago, he was going 2 rounds higher than I got him in this draft. Even with the luck news and Brissett being the quarterback now, I would have dropped him down a round, but I'm getting him 2 rounds later at value. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I for myself, I like this team. Might be my favorite drafted team that I've drafted this year. I did not expect to get Aaron Rodgers in any kind of a draft and got him super late. For me, yeah, that is most leagues that I've drafted him, I got Aaron Rodgers in the 8th round, especially after I'd got 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and a tight end to that point. I mean, the value for me was just too good not to be able to take Aaron Rodgers, especially when 2 rounds early you have a guy like Matt Ryan going. I started out with Zeke, Mike Evans, and Josh Jacobs. If I can get my running backs to hit here, which I've got enough high upside guys to be able to do, my wide receivers, I've got a solid number 1 and 2 very high upside number 2s. I'm loving my draft right here. I got a lot of guys I really like to get in a lot of leagues, and some guys who like Mike Evans who I haven't gotten in the league so far. So I'm excited.
Yeah, if you take a hit at running back, you are done, I would say.
I mean, really the hit for me. The one position that I am comfortable not being as strong on, at least as far as backups go, is running back. I can pluck a running back with the best of them. So I am not worried. I'm not worried. Well, I'm not worried about Ezekiel Elliott. If I do, I got Tony Pollard, so I'm good there.
Yeah, you're safe there. I'll give you that. But Josh
Jacobs, does he have I don't see a lot of room for error with Josh Jacobs, man. I'm honestly looking at him
like, the issue with Josh Jacobs is, does he hit the rookie wall? Does the workload become too much for him? I've talked about it all off season long. I'm good with him where you got him, but he's also a risk, and he comes with a risk. He does
come with a risk. I mean,
he's a rookie.
He's a rookie. We don't exactly know what he's going to be able to do. I mean, he is the unquestioned lead dog in that offense.
Yeah, they're going to give him work, but the fact of the matter is if can he stay healthy, and if he doesn't, then you're dropping back to Damian Williams as your number 2 running back, which all indications are he could be a great running back too for you. But we're going to have to see how this offense shakes out with the Chiefs and with McCoy now in the fold.
And in round 6, I mean,
round
that
6.
for me, yeah. I mean, again, I kind of saw for me, it was just in there, and I just kind of saw the running back value just kind of slipping, and at least for the way my draft was falling, I made a good call kind of in there, being able to go and grab him in that spot. So I'm excited to take the chance. And Damian Williams, a guy who's going round 2, round 3, just 2 days ago, I'm perfectly happy going and getting him in the 6th round right here, and a guy who at worst is going to be in a 50-50 time split. I don't even see that happen.
I know what's like I put out on Twitter earlier today, and if you don't follow me on Twitter, of course it's at RotoSuperstar on Twitter. I put out earlier this morning when I was kind of going through some things with the new Chiefs backfield situation is I think more than anything you'll see McCoy he will get some work in this backfield because Andy Reid he knows how to work with him. But the biggest thing that will be with Damian Williams, it's going to make him more of an efficient fantasy football player. I think had he gotten 17 to 20 touches a game, was he going to remain on the field and stay efficient throughout the year? No. Now what you're going to get with McCoy getting mixed in and out of the offense and the rotation of running back, I think you're going to get a guy with Damian Williams that's going to produce like he did last year at the tail end of the season, but now you're going to get him more on a long year, season-long basis. He's going to get you those 12 to 15 touches a game, and he's going to do quite well with them. And you got him in the 6th round, and he's a guy that you probably, with the way things are shaking out now, probably should have gotten him in the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a good pull value-wise. But we talked about it before things started. We wanted to know how things were going to go and how they were going to shake out with Damian Williams. That's a good indication. But you saw it as we went through this draft here. It's the final draft of the year. You saw how some of these players came off the board. Hopefully it gives you an indication if you got drafts coming up where you need to start targeting and valuing some of these players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you and I have another draft together. I mean, the value is going to be in those round 5, 6, and 7 running backs all day long as hopefully your number 3 guys right in there. Singletary, Tevin Coleman, Tariq Cohen in there, Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram. These are the guys. Damian Williams this race going as your number 3 running back. There's no reason you should not be going, and getting some of those, more high upside wide receivers in those middle rounds and take advantage of the upside guys that you're getting around 6 and 7 at running back.
Exactly. And wrapping it up for this podcast, this live stream of this draft, we're going to kind of get everything ready to go. Busy week ahead. Week 1 NFL action fixing to start up. Got a couple of podcasts we're probably going to be looking to do. We need to try to wrap up the NFC West. Hopefully time will allow, and we'll get that podcast out to you guys, get that ready to go. But looking to do a podcast towards the end of the week and get everyone ready for week 1 with our Woo Boo segment that we do every single year for the games. A little DFS talk. Hopefully get Mr. Charisma on board for that as well. So we'll get you guys set up on FanDuel, and of course FanDuel, sponsor of the show. Definitely get on there, check them out. FanDuel, Woo Fantasy promo code. Let's get you a little bit of extra cash to begin your year. Also, go over, and if you've not done so already, go over to rotoballer.com. Let's get that draft kit and that in-season package. Get you set up to win a title in 2019. And if you put in the Woo Fantasy promo code there as well, we're going to get you 10% off that draft package and in-season package for the year. And God forbid you can't go without that. I mean, that's advice from some of the best minds in fantasy football, yours truly included. So go and check that out as well. And then, of course, as always, Full-Time Fantasy Network for having us on, giving us a platform to come to you on a weekly basis, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to wrap it up as well. I am the Roto Superstar on Twitter. And Nick, give them your Twitter handle as well.
You can find me at the Real FF Goat.
Real FF Goat, and the Woo Fantasy Podcast account as well. That's Woo_Fantasy on Twitter. And until next time, this has been another episode of Woo!